All right, so I have to make this quick. So I'm on a tour with a group from Slovenia, and we take a train from Matsumoto to Tokyo. And one of the group leaves his iPad on the train in the seat pocket in front of him. Doesn't realize it till we get back to the hotel, and he's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just did that." Really bummed because we're at the end of our tour, and he's got all his pictures and probably a lot of the work he'd done along the way because I think he was a doctor, and some people need to work during a tour. Anyway, he was pretty bummed, and he said, it's gone. There's no way I'm going to get it back. But I said, well, hold on. This is Japan. Let's see what we can make happen. So I got everybody checked into the hotel, and I ran back to my hostel where I was staying, and I got on the phone, called the lost and found. It took a while to figure this all out, but found a lost and found, got in touch with a human being, and they're like, look, you got to come down tomorrow to the office, which is 2 trains, a 30-minute trip away from Shinjuku, which is where we were staying. So the next morning, I woke up super early, took a train, transferred, took another train out to this station. I don't even remember where it was. And then I called the office again. And the person on the other end of the line had to give me directions in real time how to get to the office. So they're like, okay, walk down the street. Okay, what do you see? And I told them, I see a convenience store. They're like, all right, turn right. And I walk a little further. They're like, what do you see? And I tell them, they're like, okay, there's a stairwell on your left. Go up the stairwell. I felt like I was in a Jason Bourne movie, having Jason Bourne tell me how to escape the Russians that were after me or something. Get to the office, drop my umbrella and my soaking wet coat. It's raining out, by the way. Drop my wet stuff at the door, go to the counter. I explained to them again what I was looking for, and they had it. They had the iPad because I knew the train, I knew the seat, I knew exactly what it looked like because the guy had told me, of course. They had it, and I signed for it, ran out the door, ran for the station, had to run back because I forgot my jacket and my umbrella. Lost and found, right? And ran back to the station, took 2 trains, ran back to the hotel where our guests were staying. And by this time, it was almost time for the group to meet to get going for the day. Gave the iPad to the man at the front desk. I said, hold this for one of my group. Ran back to my hostel, changed clothes. I'm all sweaty and wet, but I had no time to take a shower, so just put on some dry clothes, ran back to the hotel. And by this time, the group was together outside. It stopped raining. And the leader of the group from Slovenia, he was out there telling everyone in Slovenian what was going to happen for the day. And everyone's in a circle. I sneak around the circle to where the guy who lost his iPad was. And I whispered in his ear, good morning. They have something for you at the front desk. And he turned to me. His eyes got real big. He's like, no way. And I said, come on. Took him inside, took him to the front desk, gave a nod to the gentleman who I had handed the iPad to 30 minutes prior. He goes to the back, comes out with the iPad and hands it to the guy. He was blown away. He couldn't believe it. And he's just like, how did this happen? How did this happen? And at that moment, I didn't know whether I should tell him what happened. And he was just so amazed that I decided to just leave it at that. He's like, how did this happen? And I just kind of smiled and said, it's the magic of Japan. And I never told him. I never told him I had run out to the lost and found and grabbed it and brought it back and all that. Didn't tell him. So a couple days later, we're at our farewell dinner. And the leader from Slovenia had everybody go around in turn to tell a story about something that was interesting or special, something that had happened, some experience that everyone had that they will remember for a long time. And as it came around to the gentleman who had lost his iPad, this was all in Slovenian, so I didn't really understand anything, but he did, in his explanation, in his story, say, the magic of Japan. And everybody loved the story. Everybody just had a really good feeling about that. And I'm glad I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knows that I went out there. No one knows the real story. Everyone just knows that good things happen here in Japan. And that's how I like to have left it. That's how I did leave it. Now, my question for my fellow tour guides out there is, would you have told them would you have run out there? Well, I'm sure you would have run out there, but would you have told them you ran out there? Would you have told them that you went and retrieved it? And as an example of how well the system works here in Japan. Or would you have just left it as an amazing mystery? On the flip side, as a guest on a tour, would you want to have known the real story, or would you rather have just left? Would you rather have been left in your amazement about this place? Let me know. I'd love to hear what you have to think. That's it for now. Quick story from Hirano Sato in Takayama, Japan. We'll see you guys next time.